All right. Now, let's get this thing going. The Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today. Get $100 when you bet $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Head on over to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com and use promo code MADNESS for 10% off orders of $40 or more. And trust me, they're going to be $40 or more. All right. Play the music and let's do it. That's if you're listening to the podcast, which you are. You could also be watching live now, and we are. And we're going live to the streams of the main front Sports Gambling Podcast Network and the NFL Gambling Podcast Network. It's me, CJ Sullivan, of the Bottom Line Bombs fame and glory. My first show after the Super Bowl. Took some time off, collaborated, see what we're going to do. Have my own feed for you guys to subscribe to now. Just the Bottom Line Bombs. We'll get that out there too. I'm still trying to fix all these things going on. I don't know what to do anymore. I should probably time these things, right? Let me get a clock running. I'm already back to being unprofessional. I did nothing during this 3-week hiatus but mourn the Super Bowl. No need to talk about it. It's already been done. Anything that's to be said about it has been said about it. Of course, everyone likes to complain about the penalty at the end, which you should. It was just dumb. It ruined the Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl. Both teams scoring. It was amazing. And then the referee's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. We haven't done anything yet. Let's we don't remember our role that everyone hates us, so let's just ruin it. So we'll just throw a ticky-tack foul." I love people defending the penalty. Well, the letter of the law. Who the fuck are the letter of the law? What do you care? These people report, these are people who report other shoppers who shoplift, who take the store side or something. The letter of the law says he grabbed the jersey, so first. Shut up. How about the story? How about the narrative of the story? Whatever. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl. Anyway, we are the Bottom Line Bombs. CJ Sullivan. So yeah, we're going to continue all season long. I know it's normally an NFL game, but I can do all the sports. I'm already doing XFL Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that XFL Gambling Podcast with Colby D and J Mark. Colby D is a partner in crime helping me out here. That's a fun show to do, actually. I learned a lot talking about the XFL. Who these players used to be and what warrants they have. But there's a whole alternative football fan base that I didn't realize they're very intense and they take things seriously. For instance, I didn't realize XFL fans and USFL fans do not get along. They don't think there's room for each other. And I say, yeah, fellas, calm down. There's barely room for either of you. So why don't you just be nice to each other and be thankful that anyone gives a shit. But I like it. It's fun. But on this show, it's going to be my general Bottom Line Bonds. If you listen to me, how I talk about, I do picks with bits. I'll still be giving out, for instance, I'll give out some NBA and NCAA picks for tonight. It's going to be more of a daily show. It's going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday. I skipped Monday because, of course, I'm going to skip my debut. Things got out of hand. But it's gonna be fun. I'll talk about general stories and sports and how they, how the narrative picks with bits. Some I want to. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be shorter than the NFL ones. The NFL ones will go for an hour. We'll also do some man in the box. Let me switch on over now. There's me in the box. Man in the box. Oh boy, looks. I had the brown glasses on today. It's not even a tight square. But we'll talk about big general stories. I'll take down. Corporate usually ESPN. That's what I mean by big gambling. ESPN is one of my favorite topics to take down, and how ridiculous it is. So I hope you come along for the ride. I remember it's great to be part of the SGPN team. Now I feel like I'm finally part of the SGPN team. Before I was kind of a freelancer side. They're trying me out at a big. This is how my audition went with the SGPN degenerates here: Sean Green, Ryan Kramer, the two head honchos. It was pretty funny. Kramer didn't know me. Sean Green knew me a little bit from comedy. He's a comic as well, and so he knew me a little bit. And we're Eagles fans together, so I got the benefit of the doubt from him. But Kramer, Giants fan, tech guy, he gave me the up and down. He gave me the look. Okay, he wanted to see if I was a real degenerate or not, or if I'm just some guy who's trying to take advantage of the upswing in gambling, trying to get into that cash cow, the gambling media business. Do I look like a fucking model woman who just throws out a couple parlays and gets a job on ESPN? No. He asked me the degenerate. So he asked me, what was your first bet you made? I'm like, well, I was in 6th grade. I would book my friends' bets with their lunch money, basically, and I would cut out the point spread to the Courier Post, which was the South Jersey newspaper. Is that good enough? And then when I would go down the lines, I would go down the timeline of my life and gambling and bookies. Like, oh, okay. All right. You're a true scumbag. Welcome to the team. So I thank them for putting me through a rigorous job interview of, are you a dirtball enough? Because our listeners will know. You can't just talk the talk. You got to fucking beat it. You got to be a deadbeat. Scumbagger Vance. That's me, the C-generate himself, the man in the box. That's what I learned. He needed tons of nicknames. When I did the Bottom Line Bombs a while ago, when I started off as a blog, I was trying to make fun of touts with that's the selection, like a bottom line bomb, and you drop a fucking. Where is that bomb sound effect? I think I have it somewhere. Here it is. Yes. That's old fashioned, huh? Remember that? Jeff Klinger, welcome to the comments. He's outside. I told him he jumped in 20. He's probably not back because I told him 20 minutes ago. Come on in and comment if you want. Jeff Klinger was around my place. I ordered the fight. I didn't order the fight. I have this new thing. One of the great things that have come to me, one of the perks of working here is I got inside information on their TV system, which is highly illegal. I paid for it in crypto, but I have everything in the world, any sporting event in the world, which turns out to be a lot of soccer. We're like, hey, what's going on in Bangladesh? Soccer. That's what's going on. How about Turkey? China, soccer. Soccer's happening. But we got the fight, the John Bone Jones fight. That seemed like an event. It was a good 15 seconds. I guess something happened. I don't know. That's what his bottom line bombs is. It's a lot of hype, a lot of Michael Buffer's brother and screaming hype, and then it got deep lows like a fucking DJ Steve Aoki's playing. There's a laser light show, and then Jones chokes this guy out in 10 seconds. Oh, that was great. Okay. Glad I was so happy actually when that happened, because I'm like, I'd be furious if I paid for that fight. I'm so glad I have an illegal. I shouldn't say illegal because it's on the air right now, but I'm just glad I didn't pay for it. Back in the old days, when something like that would happen, you fake called, pay-per-view DirecTV or something and say something happened with your feed. It kept going in and out. I want my money back. You just lie. Drunk after a fight, a bad fight. People still do. It's great. It's immediately. You imagine taking those calls from the, like, all right, sir, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure you had a bad cable wire for just your fucking fight that you ordered. Anyway, so we'll talk about a few things on ESPN. A lot of the NFL quarterbacks that happened yesterday, and like I said, some NBA and NCAA tournament picks. And then we'll even do a man in the box. I was supposed to do a quick show. I can already see this is going to go long because I can't stop myself once I'm in this box. This is all I have in life anymore. Is this box? It's very sad. And it's not sane either. Like I feel like, it keeps my sanity. Actually, it makes me less sane, this box. But it's what I have, so I'm gonna do it. All right, let me get through another ad read because WynnBET is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. March Madness is almost here. It is here. I mean, almost here. It's here. Well, the official March Madness starts on Sunday when the selection show. So there's plenty of ways to win. Getting down on the NBA, NHL, and XFL. I'm hot with my XFL picks. I'll give out, I'll tease you to go to my show for that. Sign up today. Receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. Limited state availability. Of course, for Degens only. If you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. So much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know we sent you at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where you play through WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, and you do, you are listening to my show, The Bottom Line Bombs, on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You have a gambling problem. But not all problems need fixed. And certainly not that one. So if someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700 and report them. Report them. So they can let you go back to gambling. All right. Well, there's a lot of fun ads on these other shows. There's a oh man, they don't have the fucking dating show anymore. Anyway, we're back. They had a they had some kind of dating app advertisement for some other shows. I wish I wanted to do those reads. That would have been a fun read to do. All right. Just not to scare anyone, we'll go through some of the NFL court. Yesterday was the NFL quarterbacks. Should I get into the ESPN thing? I don't know. Maybe I'll say that towards the end. Just a funny ESPN thing that's happening yesterday was I was talking about it real quick. Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick, they went on. It was all over Twitter. Those two going at it. And what's fun about it? It's that First Take show, Stephen A. Smith show, which is what it is. Everybody discussed it plenty of time. Like, I actually don't understand why Stephen A. Smith gets the pass, but Skip Bayless does not. When Skip Bayless is the one who taught Stephen A. Smith, basically, there's his mentor. You know what I mean? Like, they're the same thing. They make up screaming debates. They can be arguing anything they want. They can flip sides mid-argument. None of it means anything. They know it means nothing. It's just to cause a reaction and debate. And occasionally, they'll make you peek behind the curtain. They don't like when they do it, but they'll peek behind the curtain and tell you the truth. And we just don't want to listen to them. That's what's fun about it. And that's what happens with JJ Redick. JJ Redick's been popular a couple times because he'll call out some of these dumb arguments for being dumb. And like, yeah, you're right, JJ, but that's not the point. The point of the show is to have these dumb arguments because it causes a reaction. And then when you point it out with facts, like, all right, okay, you got facts, but who cares? That's how Max Kellerman got fired. He was throwing facts out there. Stephen A. was like, get this guy the fuck out of here. Was he trying to expose us? And he was right. Stephen A. was right. Get him out of here. And I like Max Kellerman, but come on. This is no room for facts. We're here to yell. So Kendrick Perkins, he always has some ridiculous thing. His take was like the Jokic stat pads, I think. I don't know. Pads of stat pads for his triple doubles. And he basically said the MVP voters are racist because 3 guys who won the MVP who weren't in the top 10 scoring were white. Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Jokic. The only ones who are not in the top 10 in scoring, which is wrong. I mean, it's right to a certain point. Magic Johnson, also not in the top 10 in scoring, but he stopped it that year, conveniently, because that would ruin his entire argument. Which I do love saying that they're racist because they allowed 3 white MVPs out of the last 50. God forbid, Perk. We give one to Nowitzki for once a year. Jesus. You're racist. So anyway, so JJ Redick came back with facts that, says, hey, you're saying you're racist. And Perkins just yelling, well, no, I didn't. This is facts. The truth. The truth has no friend. Like, he's losing his mind. But what was funny was, to me, if you break down all that stuff, JJ Redick opens it up with, here's one of the problems with this show. The show is that we create a narrative, a fake narrative, and that's what we talk about. And like, yeah, no, that's why the show works. That's your entire news cycle. And you see Stephen A. Smith, he's like shaking his head. He doesn't want to jump in because he knows this argument's going to be good for his show. But he's also like, JJ, shut the fuck up about what we do here. Yeah, we make things up and then people run with it. That's called a sustainable system. That's how we come to work every day and make an insane amount of money. And you could tell and JJ just doesn't get it. And JJ, like, listen, they've tried common sense before. It doesn't work. People are kind of like, but trust me, you're going to be gone. You got to watch out with that. Perkins was just hilarious. So and then Perkins obviously took an L, as the kids say, on Twitter. And so he tries to come back and save himself. He's like, the truth has no friend. First of all, you're not telling the truth. The truth is that you're a liar. But, and then someone's like, yeah, you took an L. Because there's no wins or losses for that. That was just an uncomfortable conversation that needed to be happen. First of all, he's trying to act like this was a dignified conversation about race relations. It was not. It was him yelling, I did not know. No. Screaming, the facts. They're hilarious. So eventually, we'll see what happens. Like JJ did this before with the Mad Dog, Chris Russo. Stephen A. brought in Chris Russo because he loves another guy who just says shit to say shit. He's funny. And then like Reddick makes a mistake of listening to the actual words he says and tries to debate him. I talk about old players being plumbers or something like that. Great. Yeah, you can listen to what he says and debate him by his words, but that's not how this show works. This works by yelling. This whole country works by yelling the loudest, not by what you're yelling. Anyway, I didn't want to get too into that because that's what we have plenty of shows to get into here at the Bottom Line Bombs. I should do. I need to get into the NFL quarterbacks. Do I need to get into the NFL quarterbacks? I could talk more about ESPN too. All those shows, Michael Wilbon. I was watching PTI the other day. Is there, with Wilbon and Kornheiser, speaking of people just making an insane amount of money, they are so proud of how bad they are at their job. They love bragging about things like, I don't watch hockey. I've never watched hockey until someone tells me to, a Stanley Cup. Wilbon said something like, it's so predictable. Wilbon just screamed. I don't know how. Isn't Wilbon likable at one point? He just stares. He growls at the camera. He's like, the XFL is junk, garbage. I'd rather watch the NBA All-Star game. That's junk. And I've never watched it. Well, what are you talking about if you never watched it? They love talking about how they don't watch things. then they comment on it. Like they're just bragging about how awful they are at their job because they're so rich. They don't have to. They're so fucking out of touch, too. After the NBA All-Star game, which was horrendous, universally horrendous, people are like, shut it down, whatever, don't shut it down. I've said this about the NFL Pro Bowl, too. You don't need to shut it down. It's for kids. It's just not for you anymore. It's not for us. All right? It's for children. But anyway, people were like, shut down the NBA All-Star game. His reasoning, Michael Wilbon's reasoning to not shut down the All-Star game was because he gets to hang out with NBA legends in the hotel lobbies. Like Oscar Robinson, Jerry West. So it's a big part, this is NBA royalty, and I get to hang out with them. What? That's why we should continue? So you can hang out with NBA royalty in the hotel and restaurants? That's very in touch. Very in touch with the listeners. That's how we are. That's how we are, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We fight the corporate evil of gambling. And now that ESPN embraces gambling, they don't even know how to fucking do that right. None of these networks do. They know that they should talk about gambling, which is hilarious. Like they'll put the point spreads up there and then they'll slap, but they don't have people who represent gambling talking about it. They just have the regular announcers talking about it, or they have the one gambling show and they mess that around. Mess that around. The old mess around. They need a guy like me, not to promote. I'm not talking I would take the job, but They need a fucking scumbag of ants up there. You know, smoking a cigarette, green visor, chasing money, feeding, like asking to borrow money from Scott Van Pelt. I don't want to see these guys doing their fucking bad beats segment. Ugh. I hate people rubbing in bad beats. If you didn't have it, I don't want to see it. Don't make fun of other people's losses like that. I mean, whatever. It's a fun segment. You think he acts like he didn't invent? He doesn't act like. I shouldn't blame Scott Van Pelt, but people act like he invented the fucking bad beat. They got the producers to whip up. I mean, it's Jesus, God, to whip up any kind like anyone had this like St. Mary's first half on whatever. Oh man, they even messed with the Daily Wager show, which was a fine show. But they would, it's too much TV, and TV has no idea what they're doing. It's TV, like they want to put good-looking people on there. Gamblers aren't good-looking. That's the whole point of us. We look terrible. We have city miles on us. We look rough. Our lives are rough. Okay? Anyone who looks good and smile and give me a pick, I don't trust them. I'm sure they're all fine people. On both sides, winners and losers. If you can tell, I don't want someone who wins in life telling me about a game. I want a loser in life giving me picks, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you picks. So anyway, welcome here to. I gotta do another read, I believe, and then I'll get into the NFL quarterbacks, the NBA picks, NCAA picks, and maybe a man in a box. First, I got to tell you that we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is your home for the off-season NFL best ball drafts, but they also got you covered on a ton of other daily games, including NBA, NHL, and PGA. Underdog Fantasy is a great way to get down your favorite player props if they're not available in your state. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo SGPN. Thanks for watching live on YouTube. Make sure to smash the subscribe button and like this video on YouTube as well, by the way. That's gonna be enough for the ad reads. Like I said, my own feed is coming out. My YouTube feed, my own Bottom Line Bombs feed. The show will be a little more concise in this as I get into it, but let's talk about the NFL news real quick before we give out our bombs. Yesterday was franchise tag day. A couple quarterback news, big quarterback news. The biggest one being Lamar Jackson. They gave him the Baltimore doesn't know what to do with Lamar Jackson. He's hilarious. So Lamar Jackson is his own agent during this deal, which is admirable. But it also be tricky. So he's going back and forth. He wants a big deal as well as he should. He's like 26. He's an MVP. He's awesome. A little hurt occasionally, but so what? He should still get all the money. Problem is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have ruined everything by giving Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed $230 million contract, whatever it is. And so Lamar looks at that like as well as he should. Like, hey, this motherfucker's got that. I should be getting at least that. And he's right. He should. But he's also wrong because they're the Browns. And the Ravens are like, listen, half of the negotiation, why they're so far off, the Ravens are just like, Lamar, you have to forget that the Cleveland Browns exist. I wish they never did. They're idiots. They can't be a reason why we're so off. You just can't. And so in order to get this point home, now they signed him to an unrestricted tag, which means he's actually on the market right now. Lamar Jackson's on the market. But because it's the only way they can prove to him, like, listen, watch what other teams offered. Well, it's not just us. It's not just coming from us. So as soon as he went out on the market, it was so funny. There was such collusion involved. Baltimore called all these teams like, hey, listen, can you do us a favor and just say you don't want any parts of Lamar Jackson? I mean, even if you do, just say you don't. You'll be doing us a solid. And they have. As soon as it was announced that Lamar Jackson is available, all these teams who needed a quarterback said, yeah, we don't want him. Like immediately. Like it was a press release. Like the old tweet deck back when you would time your tweets out. Atlanta Carolina, Vegas, Washington, all horrible teams that need quarterbacks, that need a quarterback. Nope. We all want nothing to do with Lamar Jackson. So suspicious. Are they just saying that just because they know Lamar Jackson will never sign with them? Is that like me saying, yeah, I have no interest in Pamela Anderson. Not even interested. As a newly divorced man, I know she's single. I just don't think we're the right fit, me and Pam Anderson. I'm just gonna get ahead of that. Yeah, no, of course you're not interested in Atlanta. Why wouldn't Atlanta be interested in Lamar Jackson? Why wouldn't they be? Of course you would be. He's just not interested in you. Pam Anderson, by the way, great documentary on her on Netflix, or her memoirs of all the trouble she went through. Very, very shocking, though. I watched it. She's great. Love Pam. I was just shocking that they omitted, she omitted, I guess, the producers or whatever, omitted the scene 30 years ago, maybe 28 years ago. When CJ Sullivan, went to the Philadelphia Auto Show to see her and got her autograph on her headshot. Thought that would make the doc, thought that was an important part of her life. I also yelled that my name is CJ too, because her character in Baywatch was CJ Parker, I believe. And I had her headshot. And I said Miss Anderson, and she said, "Oh, I like a man with manners," and signed my thing. I got her attention. That's why I thought I would make the documentary. Everyone else is yelling, "Bam!" and opening up her fucking Playboy centerfold, autograph your tits. Autograph your bush. Jesus, fellas. Come on. Show some couth. I showed some couth. I said, "Miss Anderson, my name is CJ too." She had no idea what I was talking about. She didn't even know her character was named CJ, I think. Anyway, that's the point of these teams saying they're not interested in Lamar Jackson. It's me saying I'm not interested in Pam Anderson. Yes, we would be interested, but they are not interested in us, which is fine. So, eventually, I believe Lamar Jackson will be signed back with Baltimore, but they're taking a risk with this. They just don't. And I just love how Cleveland Browns are fucking everything up. Oh, I see my NBA games coming up soon. I'm about to give out my pick. We got a late start. Normally, by the way, I want to make a side note. The show will be occurring at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, probably. 10 o'clock, I'd say, Pacific time. That's 1 o'clock Eastern on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's going to be the normal time. And you also get in podcast form, so make sure you subscribe to it. Anyway. Let's see what's gonna move around. It's just been a hectic week because you got March Madness coming up, and the boys are going to Vegas for the week. I'm gonna go out there for a day or two. So everything's getting things sure. I'll tell you what, the Lamar Jackson thing also doesn't look good. So now it looks bad that all these teams are saying they don't want Lamar Jackson as MVP, and then Daniel Jones turns around and gets $160 million for the Giants. Which, as an Eagle fan, I love. So lock him up, Daniel Jones. He improved, Daniel Jones. The funny thing about the Daniel Jones contract is half the time when he was just asking for it, $40 million, people were just outraged. And all the articles were like, this is why it's not crazy for him to ask for that. The other articles okay, fuck that. This is ridiculous. He shouldn't get this much money. It's all about justifying it. And even now that the Giants signed him, the articles are justifying it. Well, it's only 2 years guaranteed. They can cut him after 2. But he gets 82 guaranteed million. That's what quarterbacks go for. Even a mediocre quarterback like Daniel Jones. But how about that saying? It's just they're just trying to control the riots before they happen. It's all right. Because then Saquon Barkley gets tagged. And he's only going to spend $10 million or something. He was 10 times the football player Daniel Jones is. But that's the NFL. That's what I love about this NFL now. And these quarterbacks are finally realizing literally how much power they have over this billion-dollar corporation. Like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, say what you want. He's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. His ayahuascas and his darkness retreats. He's going to go in a darkness retreat for 4 days to see what it tells him. And that tells him the Jets. So when you go to the pits of hell, it spells out the Jets. He hasn't called it a Jets yet, but he had a meeting with them. How ridiculous is that? Just the monetizing and bastardizations of these fucking Hindu religion things, and oh god, for rich white people to pay money to go into darkness. I'm loving Aaron Rodgers. I'm loving him more and more. When they realize it's how much power, I'll give you my decision. When? Well, maybe you shouldn't make your league so dependent on these 9 people on the planet that can throw a football. Go William and Mary style. They do 2 quarterback system, 10-yard fight. God bless Aaron Rodgers. He came out of the darkness with the word Jets spray painted on his chest. Makes sense. Holds up. Anyway. That's the NFL quarterback roundup. I'm CJ Sullivan, the man in the box. With the bottom line bombs. I'll give out some NBA bombs just because I was asked. Bill O'Donnell was asking for it. NBA bombs. Just for today. I tell you what I've been doing. I've been betting the Dallas Mavericks over until further notice. I don't care what it is. Since they've gotten Kyrie, they got the good Kyrie for 20 days, 20 games or whatever. Then he'll be bad Kyrie. Him and Luka, I mean, they play no defense and they score all the time. It's amazing. They got there again last night somehow. It was like 236. I think it landed on 236. Tonight they play the Pelicans, I think. Who cares? 234 and up. Just hit it. Just hit the over. I watched the Laker Grizzly game last night. Ja Morant. Jesus, Ja. What's going on? Twitter or Black Twitter. Whoever wants to claim responsibility because it was hashtag was the trending Ja Warrant as a nickname. Hilarious nickname. And that's a nickname only Black Twitter could come up with because they're fucking brilliant. They're the most brilliant creative writing force in this land is the Black Twitter. Give them a follow. They run the NBA. The NBA, this $1 billion corporation, they don't understand how much. I mean, the games don't even have to be played. Black Twitter runs that league. They can run an entire season on GIFs and memes and simulations. It's like they're playing NBA 2K Dynasty mode, but just on Twitter with hilarious fucking memes and shit. They're amazing. And highlights. It's all about embarrassing, humiliating, and fucking Instagram live videos. They're just running their own season. Ja Morant, did he fucking bring a gun onto a plane? I get it. It's an accessory. It's like wearing a necklace with him. I don't know too deep into Ja Morant, but apparently he's one of those. Someone put out a video of him, like the 8 Mile thing, where his real name is Clarence, because he's not a thug. But I get it. It's a fun thing. He wants to be a thug. Now he's gonna get 50-game suspension. I doubt they will. It's not like old Stern. Stern would have done it. Stern didn't give a fuck. Silver's gonna bend over backwards to him. So last night the Grizzlies, they lost. They've been bad on the road anyway. I kind of like the Grizzly squad is hilarious. To the Lakers, Anthony Davis had a big game. It was Paul Gasol night. Retiring Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol retiring as a Laker, putting his jersey up in the rafters. That's the perfect Laker retired number. Because they think the Laker fans and team, they just think he was his all along. Where did we get that guy? Oh, you mean the lottery pick that the Grizzlies, number 3 overall pick? That the Memphis Grizzlies took, and it was the entire franchise, and then Jerry West just gave him to the Lakers so they can win a championship? Yeah. We ran the numbers, and we decided Paul Gasol will be a better Laker. He works better with the Lakers as a secondary man, so we don't care about your franchise. Jerry West, you just throw him our way? Sure, no problem. Jerry West doesn't get enough responsibility for the Lakers championships as a GM for Memphis when he just handed over Paul Gasol. And then he retires numbers. Unbelievable. I mean, good for him. Best friends with Kobe. Kobe made it happen. Kobe said they're going to retire his number, so they did. And Vanessa Bryant was there. Vanessa Bryant, what are the settlements she got for the pictures of Kobe? It's insane. Like $80 million or whatever it is. I'm just making that number up. But it was some large number of millions of dollars for people spreading pictures of the cops, I guess, spreading photos. I mean, it's in bad taste, but holy fuck. $80 million for poor taste? All right. All right, I guess you need it, Vanessa. I get it. You're angry. I get it, Vanessa. Another one I'm not interested in. I'm going to click Pam Anderson and Vanessa Bryan. I'm not interested in. I'm going to throw that out there. As other teams not interested in Mar Jackson. Oh my God. I remember quick fun story about Vanessa Bryant and Kobe Bryant. And we all love Kobe Bryant. Not trying to besmudge anything, of course. We all love Kobe, especially me being from Philly. So I'm playing in high school at Lower Merion. I was going to go to his memorial at Staples Center there now, crypto.com, whatever. They had the open thing with the speeches and all that when after he died. Tickets were expensive, though. They were $224 for his number. I get $224. Pretty expensive. But in their defense, it was corpse side seats. Corpse side. I just want to throw that. Sorry, I had choke in there. I had to toss that choke in there. I once put on Kobe Bryant's ring. It's just his friend worked at the jewelry place where he bought he got his ring shined, where he also bought that $9 million sorry I raped a white girl in Colorado ring. Remember when he did that? So he bought her that $9 million ring to say I'm sorry, and it worked as well as it should have. So he'd go in there all the time, and so we had his championship ring at home, at my sister's home where she lived with her friend, who worked at the jewelry store, and I was cleaning it. Like, I don't put it on. I have to go upstairs. As soon as she said that, we all put it on, and I got stuck on my finger. I had to get Crisco. Kobe's championship ring. It said bling bling on it in all diamonds. A catchphrase. It doesn't even hold up now. That's like if Magic Johnson had "Where's the beef" on his fucking ring from '85. You want to think a little timeless, Kobe. Although Kobe was probably thinking I'll win more, and he did. So who am I talking about? Anyway, there's the bottom line bombs. I want to make this show go by quicker. Like I said, the NCAA tournaments are starting. It's the conference tournaments now. Real March Madness is next week. This is the dress rehearsal. These are the tournaments that mean something for other teams to get in. It means nothing if you're good. It can only hurt you. They got to stop with these things. Like the Big 12 tournament. The Big 12 is the best conference. Kansas and Texas, two best teams. The last thing they should want to do is win the Big 12 tournament and play 4 or 5 games, whatever it is, against tough competition and drain their legs for the real tournament. So I would fade Kansas and Texas if you're looking for someone to play there. TCU, I like to have that conference. They're good value. The Big East Conference, Big East tournament is one of the tournaments I really watched growing up. Long as I was from the East Coast, but it was fun. Madison Square Garden. They had the championship game at night, Saturday night. That's a fun atmosphere. I hate these tournaments, these Johnny-come-latelys like your Big Tens. They have the championship game on Sunday afternoon. Like, who gives a shit about a Sunday afternoon, 1:00 game between Indiana and Purdue? It means nothing. The brackets don't factor them in at all because they have to do so much paperwork and travel arrangements. They're not watching the Sunday afternoon games. No one cares. But the Saturday night game, that's great. So Big East tournament's wide open. This group, Marquette's the 1 seed. They're the 3rd favorite. UConn's the favorite. They're the 4 seed. But I'll give out Villanova. They're plus 750. You can lock that in. Put that in now. Actually, you can put that in before they start up. 750 to win the Big East tournament. I like Villanova. They just lost UConn at home. That's what made this number so sweet. They've been playing real well since they got Justin Moore back. They've been playing like the old Nova team, and they got to make a run at this tournament. They need to win this tournament to get into the big one, and they have a chance. They might not do it, but they're going to be at least determined and dedicated and motivated is the word. Unlike your big teams that don't need to, and frankly, it would hurt them. Like it would hurt Marquette and UConn to win these tournaments. Although UConn has a history of shipping the Big East tournament and winning the national championship. They did a couple times with Kemba Walker and whatnot. Syracuse lost today in the ACC. It's always weird to see them in the ACC. And Jim Boeheim is finally going to retire after 75 years. of his cranky style of zone basketball. Good Lord. Get him out of there. There's that documentary on the that Baylor coach who covered up a murder. He covered up a murder, basically, and he told his players to fucking lie to cops and shit. And then the other assistant coach taped him and revealed it. And then in this documentary, Boeheim and Coach K and all these guys, they're all side with the fucking Baylor coach, and they're against the assistant who taped him. It's unbelievable. I'm not filling in a lot of details here because it's shocking, terrible, and it just came across now that Boeheim retired. It's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. About Ja Morant or Jim Boeheim and Villanova. There's so much college. I gotta keep this show short. I was told to keep these shows short, so I will. I should give out the bombs, by the way. NBA bomb, Dallas. Over 234, Dallas. I'll give another bomb, actually. Same thing. Washington, Atlanta, 236.5. That's a lot. Over on that one as well. Same exact theory. Overs on Atlanta till further notice. As soon as they fired, oh God, that scratched me right there. Jesus Christ. As soon as they fired their coach, they have doing nothing but recess with with a substitute teacher. As soon as Nate McMillan got fired, they're just like, who cares? We are shooting every time. These numbers are astronomical. Now versus the Wizards, they don't give a fuck. It is just pure playground ball. So I love both those overs tonight. And Villanova bombing for Villanova plus 750. That's 7.5 to 1 to ship the Big East tournament. But next week's bombs, we'll get into the real tournament. The brackets will be out. That'll be fun. I mean, there's so much show programming on a Sports Gaming Podcast Network that takes that. They're going to be in Vegas all week. I'm going out there for a day or two to join them in studios shot from Vegas. So it's going to be awesome for the games. I'll talk deep into Alabama. I should talk about that in the Man in the Box, right? I don't know if I want to, though. Not sure what I want to talk about for Man in the Box. Let me get into it. Let me lock the box up real quick. So I gave out. I'll give out an NCAA pick as well tonight too. North Carolina giving 11 to Boston College. That's a lot. They should smoke them out, but I think that line is just big because North Carolina needs to win the tournament to get in. They're ranked number 1 in the country, and now they need to get in preseason. And now they might not make the tournament. And it's in North Carolina. But be wary of teams who played a game yesterday, like Boston College. They played a game yesterday. Now you're coming off fresh. So I'll go ahead and take 11 points. I'll throw another bomb in there. So that's it. I'm giving you a lot of bombs. BC plus 11. Take 11. Let's take it. Wow. Real quick before we get to the Man in the Box, thanks for everyone commenting, including Jeff Clicker says I'm outside, who probably never came back in because I said I was going to do this at 3 o'clock and I started a little late because we were doing things. Talked about Jones fight. All right. Yeah, Man in the Box. There's so many things to talk about. I don't know. Different rules, PTI. I don't know what you can't eat, why you can't eat, car rentals. There's so many things. I'm already down. I'm already disheartened and down. I took about 25 leaves in the last 24 hours. Is that good for you? Is that good for your stomach? Just keep popping leaves by the 5. That's what I do. I have plantar fasciitis. My knee is swollen from golfing a week ago. These are all good signs, right? Someone said LeBron, because LeBron tweeted that his son could be in the NBA. He was obviously drunk with his bad leg on the air. Like that's the most relatable he's been in a while as a 40-year-old man. Talking about how his teenage son should be in the league and he's hammered. I don't have a teenage son, but I do have a bad knee, and I'm popped up on a leave, whatever's going on there. I haven't eaten in days. I'm eating a leave. What you can't eat, what you can't eat. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, sorry for the cough. Man, I'm breaking down. See, ESPN, why wouldn't you want to hire this guy as a personality? I'm dying on a microphone. That's who you want picks from. A man who's literally dying in front of you, who pops perks and reads nutrition articles online. You can't have anything anymore. Or you can't have something, or you can have the worst things that are good for you. That's what when I try to go online for nutrition, it's hilarious. Either the best things you thought were for you are terrible for you, and the worst things are good for you, or just whatever you want to read, they'll put it out there. Like chocolate's good for you. And then you see, who's this? Who sponsored this? Oh, the University of Nestle sponsored this study. Wine is good for you every day. By the Laboratories of Barefoot Wine Company sponsored us. Then I read, well, just find the diet that's right for you. I don't know what's right for me. That's why I'm here. I'm not educated. I'm educating what's wrong. I know what's wrong for me. I can write that article. Just tell me something consistent. Anyway, I'm a mess. I'm getting worse. I read fucking water's bad for you. Water. We can't have water. I mean, sparkling water, obviously, not still water. Well, you can't have still water either. I'm not talking about Flint, Michigan situation. I'm talking about sparkling water. I mean, for God's sakes, I've taken alcohol out of my life. Taking all these other shit out of my life. What can I have that's enjoyable? That doesn't make me want to kill myself. I can't even have a fucking sparkling water now. I barely liked it to begin with. But it's something. How can it be bad? Tell you what, I do believe that Topo Chico is bad for you. That I'll buy. If you want to tell me Topo Chico is bad for you, I'll agree. I don't know what's going on in there. I read Consumer Reports. I have a subscription to Consumer Reports. That's how old I am, this man in the box. Actually, I canceled it, but it's one of those old man subscriptions magazines where, like, they don't care. Once you subscribe to them, they're just going to send it to you. Like, you didn't mean it. We're not going to charge you. We're just going to keep sending you stuff. Golf Digest and Consumer Reports. My sister still gets my dad's subscription to Golf Digest forwarded to her. My dad died. I don't even know how many years ago. 16, I want to say. I'm just throwing that number out there. A long time ago, he died. Still got a subscription to this fucking magazine going that they keep sending to us. I mean, we take it. We love it. They're not billing us. It's just one of those old man magazines. So Consumer Reports was telling me that Topo Chico is bad for you. And I kind of believe it. They say it's because of the chemicals they put in there. It's like 10 times the amount that they should not have in there. And they complained to them and they brought it down. It's still like around 4 or 5 times, but still. The reason why I believe it is I'll leave a Topo Chico out by my bed or somewhere in the house. I'll come back a week later. This thing is still fizzing like you'd put Pop Rocks into a 7-Up or something. It's exploding. What is going on in there? It's like a 3rd grade science project, these Topo Chicos. What the hell is in there? No wonder why they're so delicious. So that I buy. I believe that Topo Chicos are bad for you. You don't even have to shake it up to fizz. It's water, but it's fizzing. It's like a Hawaii volcano going on of delicious water. Put a little lime in there. Anyway, I'm not saying change your recipe. If I die by Topo Chico, so be it. Anyway, that's going to do it for these bottom line bombs today. This is my first rendition. It was pretty poorly constructed, badly timed, 2 days late, and that's what we're going to be. Just kidding. It's gonna be a great run. We're gonna bring us all the way back to the NFL season where I'll pick up the NFL bombs. I'm gonna give out NBA bombs. I'm gonna give out NCAA bombs, baseball bombs. I'll give out daily bombs. We're gonna start out for 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday. We're gonna go from there. Maybe we'll spread out more. It depends on what kind of depends on you guys, actually, if I get a fucking fan base. So make sure you subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. It's got its own feed. It's also on the main feed here in Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And my YouTube page. Smash the like, subscribe, 5-star review, all that nonsense. We're gonna do a lot of picks with bits and detonate some bombs, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna do stories, and I can't wait to get into that Alabama basketball. My other lock is New Mexico State plus 2.5. They had to cancel their season, and they lose every game now 2-0. That's the joke there. Which I wonder if they have to make the other team go out there and actually shoot a basket to make it 2-0, or just do it anyway. But Alabama basketball, I can't wait to fade them in the tournament. They are just an amazing story. Unbelievable. Kind of story I live for. That the Bottom Line Bombs live for. Anyway, so that's going to do it for today. Thank you. Like I said, did this go quickly? This is supposed to be, oh my God, it told me 30 minutes, about 50. I just fucking keep talking. I'm in this box. I just keep talking. I can't stop. Like I said, this is all I have. So my mind is just deteriorating. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that is all I have. It's not even a healthy thing for me. I talk like this to people too. People have been noticing that. Like if I ever have a social situation, which is pretty rare, I'll just have my own thoughts. And I just start talking in my own thread. And I talk to myself, like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, oh, just me. I was just talking about Justin Timberlake or something, whatever's going on in my head, the price of grapes, whatever. But I just talk on this thread to me and me only. Well, I'm leaning into this life, this the end of life phase pretty smoothly. Anyway, thanks for joining me in the Bottom Line Bombs. I hope we have a long year with us. Play that music and good night.
I'm the guy that pulled out the sheets of paper, that looked at the analytics, that watched the tape in the fricking when we were at Indianapolis.